Oh, happy Tuesday. I almost said Wednesday, dadgummit. That tells you how my week's going. Happy Tuesday, everyone. So happy to be here. I am your host, Mike Asherbranner, professionally known as the Redneck Connector and proud and humble leader of the Hounds of Business community. You are tuning in to ESPN 106.1 RVA FM with Mike King Biz Radio. Mike King, hey man, we appreciate you. The way you push up your local community and region is unbelievable. So we appreciate this partnership to push up and elevate other exceptional people like our guest today, David Medansky, the health guy. All right. And, these are regular folks that are doing these special things, right? Think of all the stuff that you overcome and challenges and, things in the world you see. And these folks are doing something about it. They're not special. They don't have millions of dollars handed to them, and they're making things happen. So without further ado, I'm going to run our intro video, and we're going to bring David up because I am excited. He's got a new program, and I failed the first daggum week, folks. So I'm going to be open about this as always. We'll talk about it.
Looks like your business might be in a bit of a pickle. Don't you worry about a thing. You ain't alone in this. You're just a success story waiting to happen. Trust me on that. Every bump in the road is just an opportunity wearing a clever disguise. Welcome to the Hounds of Business community, where we don't just sit around twiddling our thumbs. Nope, we turn those obstacles into mighty fine stepping stones. This here's a place where high-level entrepreneurs and sharp professionals gather to grow their businesses and mindsets, kind of like how a good old gumbo needs the right ingredients to be something special. Ideas thrive here, and collaborations? Well, they're as natural as sweet tea on a hot day. Success? It's a journey, and we're fixing to walk that road right beside you. Now, don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn for all the latest tips and insights. We're talking about the kind of wisdom that'll keep you ahead of the game. And while you're at it, head on over to our YouTube channel. We've got ourselves a treasure trove of videos, from expert interviews to webinars, everything you need to stay sharp in this fast-moving world of business. The Hounds of Business community? Well, we ain't just a network, we're a movement. So why not come on and be part of something bigger? Join us today and let's turn your business journey into a real Southern success story. Together, we'll achieve greatness, just like crawfish and singing on a Friday night.
All right, let's bring up a guy who probably knows about crawfish and singing on a Friday night, Mr. David Medansky. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Mike. Thanks for having me on the show today.
Oh, brother, you changed my tune, and people know that's a hard tune to change, brother. So, let me set the stage. We only put things out here that are real, and we talk about the real, the good, bad, and ugly. All right. So David, he's got a program. I'm going through it, and it's not his fault. It's me. This is hard. It looks simple, but when you have bad habits for 40 years, folks, it takes a little bit of time. And this is why this program is so effective. I'm excited to share it because it's just a ball. Me and several other hounds are test driving, beta testing this thing, and it's just a fun time. And I'm getting benefits already, being conscious. So David, folks may have heard you. This is part 2. We had you on in the fall. Thanks for coming back. So your journey, right, from 95% risk of heart attack, right, and I'm not going to spoil it, and then you went to climb Mount Kilimanjaro at 67. Man, that's daggone remarkable. All right, what was the wake-up call that finally pushed you to make that dramatic change?
I got my wake-up call in July of 2016 at age 61. When my doctor told me, based on my lab results and that I was fat, I had a 95% chance for a fatal heart attack. So he gave me 2 options. Dude, you can lose weight or find a new doctor. And he strongly encouraged me to find a new doctor because he'd been after me for 8 years to lose the weight. If I did lose weight on a diet, I gained it all back, sometimes even more. This time was different. I was embarrassed. I was frustrated. And so I went back and started reading my books from the 1970s by Paul and Patricia Bragg, Jack LaLanne, Richard Simmons, and William Duffy's Sugar Blues. And I realized they were talking about basic concepts. Then I started reading books by current authors, and I realized they were talking about their special products or methods or programs, and it made it sound like if you didn't invest in them, you'd fail. I thought something's wrong. So during the next 4 months after that wake-up call, I lost 50 pounds, which is 25% of my total body weight. More importantly, I've kept it off. And that's the difference, because I hear people all the time saying they've lost, a lot of weight. And a year or 2 years later, I see them and they've regained it all, sometimes more. So what I advocate is not a diet. It's a lifestyle. And it's more than just what you eat and drink and put into your body. Now, don't get me wrong, because 90% of our weight issues are based on what we eat and drink. And exercise is important for overall health and fitness. However, exercise is one of the worst things you can do to lose weight.
You got to put the right fuel in the fuel tank. And by the way, let's give a shout out. April Wyatt, Living with Intention. She's testing this thing out with us. I'm sorry, April, but I think it's open. We're going to be talking about this real time, guys, on the shows and our articles all over social media. Be watching for it. But thank you, April, so much. She's a great overlap. She really is a good compliment to what you're doing. And Homer, hey, good to see you, brother.
Yeah, also shout out to Michelle Ward. She's also doing the program too, and she's been really good at it.
Yeah, no, Michelle is amazing because y'all just stay tuned. All right, I already know what's happening. I don't want to spoil it. So back to your story. All right, so can I tell the Sun Chip story real quick? Because
sure, go ahead. I think it's funny.
It's hilarious. Wait, guys, hey, shameless plug. Everybody listening right now, go to Hounds of Business on YouTube. It should be there before the radio folks hear it. But so, man, we have those weeks. And I started this program. We're going to get into it. But David made this program over Christmas, because he wanted people to succeed, as he said. And so I tested it out. I said, okay, next week, I'm going to do this. So last week, I started it. And I was doing okay for the first 2 days. And it just went downhill, folks. You know how it is. Life happens, old habits. You're pressured, blah, blah, blah. So everybody on my live stream was eating I don't know, pistachios, whatever. So I'm like, man, I'm starving. So I went and got a bag of Sun Chips or whatever it was. And I came out here and I just started eating on them. Well, then I started showing up the folks and the good people on the Hounds. And there I am with David. Now, I was like, okay, eating chips and processed foods, it is not the best way to show people what you're doing here. So anyway, let me put it this way. This week I had the real start. That was the practice run, folks. But on that note, a lot of folks, man, and really sharp professional people who win ambitious, we fail at this. This is for something is weird about this, right? To us, there's something like, who knows why, but you made this approach very different on purpose. So how did you maintain motivation during your own difficult times? How did you do it?
I wanted to reduce the weight. I wanted to be a participator in life instead of a spectator. And what I mean by that is, at my age, who have grandkids, instead of watching the grandkids play, you can get down on the ground and play with them, or be at the playground with them, or go on hikes with them, so that you're participating rather than just spectating. So that's the biggest difference, is to be a participator. And my philosophy is, age backwards. As we grow, we should grow younger as we get older, and to improve each day. And that's what I focused on. And as I mentioned, I've identified what I call 9 simple golden rules for living a healthy life, and doing the research for the books that I've written. I've written 5 books. The most recent one is Jaded Health. And that's what the program Jaded Health 42 is based on. 42 comes from 42 days of the program. However, I just recently learned that 42 is the answer to life, the universe, and everything, which is a quote from Douglas Adams, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So 42 has many meanings, but it's 42 days basically. And it doesn't mean you have to do it all in 42 days. It means you just have to be consistent for 42 days. And there's some grace in there. So you don't have to be perfect either. You have 5 days that you don't have to be perfect before you can graduate. And if it takes you 6 months to do 42 days, it takes you 6 months. If it takes you a year, it takes you a year. The whole idea and concept behind it is to start creating and building healthy routines, behaviors, and habits. So the 9 simple golden rules we've talked about, I'll go through them real quick again, if that's okay.
Yeah, please.
The most important one is to drink water. Most people are chronically dehydrated. In fact, 75% of the U.S. population is chronically dehydrated. Our bodies are 60 to 70% water, not soda, diet soda, fruit juices, fruit-flavored beverages, or milk. So drink more water. The second one is to avoid the highly processed, ultra-processed, and manufactured foods. Number 3 is to eat real holistic whole foods. Instead of drinking a glass of orange juice, eat the orange, because it takes 4 to 8 medium oranges to make a glass of orange juice, which is pure sugar. So you're better off eating an orange with fiber. And I usually ask people, would you eat 4 to 8 oranges at one time? And most people say no. Right. But that's how much sugar you're putting in your body with 1 glass of orange juice. Number 4 is to eat smaller portions. Our dinner plates have been supersized without people realizing it. In the 1900s, the average size dinner plate was 9 inches in diameter. Today, it's 12 inches. In restaurants, it's 13 to 15 inches. Yet in Europe, except for the UK, their dinner plates are still 9 inches in diameter.
Oh, come to the South. It's like, 48-inch dinner plate. Like, you got it.
Yeah, so use a salad plate instead of a dinner-sized plate. We've got it reversed because if you put the exact same amount of food on a dinner plate as a salad plate, the food on the dinner plate will look like there's a lot less. And the food on the dinner plate or the salad plate will look like there's a lot more. It can be as much as a 25% difference. So we should be using salad plates for dinner and our dinner plates for salads.
There you go. I love it when I see folks from different cultures and I meet them in real life and they have these tiny little glasses and things. And I'm like, man, we would all lose 8,000 pounds if we ate like this, But again, David, it's not that we, for the most part, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not that we don't know what to do, right? We know that some of these things are not good for us. It's making it a part of your lifestyle that you don't resist, right? Like it just becomes second nature. And that's what I like about you. It's the mindset that you're really focused on, you're really cognizant of, and that makes all the difference. So let's go ahead and dive into it.
Yeah, Jaded Health 42, it's a health reset experience. And Jaded Health is an attitude. So when you shift your mindset, you'll change your life.
Yeah. And it's simple. And guys, it's not easy. Easy is, undoing old habits and stuff, but it's simple. And that's what I like about it. The older I get, the more simple I want to be. Life's too daggum short. So on that note, let's dive into it a little bitty bit because I know there's other programs out there that are well known and I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, a lot of these have massive, like even 90% fail rates. And you sat back at Christmas time going, how do I make a real program for real change that has a 90% success rate, right? And that's what I love about it. So one of these principles that really help people, really own this, right? Not just the habit, but the mindset, your concept of consistently good over occasionally perfect, right?
Exactly.
How does that philosophy change the way we approach wellness and increase our likelihood of doing better, feeling better?
Yeah, Jaded Health 42 is a program where you do 7 critical tasks each day. And I've created a daily tracker, so it makes it easy to just check the box whether you did it or not. And at the end of the week, you send me a weekly report online and in very few questions. Did you do it or not? What were your obstacles? What were your challenges? How can I help you? There's 3 individual 15-minute coaching calls that are private. One at the beginning, one after 3 weeks, and one at the end to help you continue on with your, health journey. And there's also weekly group coaching. So there's a lot of support, a lot of accountability, and a lot of resources. But the 7 critical tasks, I'll go through them so that people can understand. It's read 10 pages of one of the books that I list below. I list 7 books, and then I give the option of any nonfiction self-help book you find educational and informative. So read 10 pages each day because experts in research show people who read at least 10 pages each day have a better life. You just learn more. And it makes you think a little bit. Number 2, do 30 minutes of physical activity each day. 30 minutes is relatively simple. You can either do it in one session, you can do it in 2 15-minute sessions, or you can break it up into 3 10-minute sessions. Walking the dog, gardening, taking a walk, just getting up and taking a break, that all counts as physical activity. It doesn't have to be strenuous exercise or any physical routine, just something that you're moving. Number 3 is to drink 64 ounces of water, preferably 1/2 of your total body weight, and avoid all soda, diet soda, fruit-flavored beverages, and milk. Number 4 is to avoid refined sugars, highly processed, ultra-processed, manufactured foods. That'll be the toughest one for most people. Number 5 is to eat real, holistic, whole foods. Like I said, eat real foods. Eat the apple, eat the pear, eat the orange. If you like beef, eat beef. If you like chicken, eat chicken. If you like fish, eat chicken or fish. Number 6, avoid alcohol. If you're unable to avoid drinking alcohol for 42 days, you have a bigger issue than I'm able to help you with. So just consider that. This again is building new habits and routines to develop lifetime habits. If you like your glass of wine, wait the 42 days. The other thing is number 7, read out loud one affirmation. The affirmation is, everything I eat and drink heals and nourishes my body, which helps me to achieve and keep me in excellent health. That's it. I just ask people, are there any of those you're unable to do? Most people say no. Next question, are there any you're unwilling to do? And surprisingly, a lot of people say they're not willing to give up their soda or diet soda, or they're not willing to give up some of their convenient processed foods or their fast foods. So again, it's your mindset, it's your attitude. It's if your health is a priority, what are you going to do to make it a priority? And as you notice,
Right.
most people will procrastinate. They'll say, because again, we started working on this in Christmas time in December. Most people say, I'll wait till after the first of the year. I'll wait till after the holidays. I'll start on Monday, after my vacation, after the holiday parties, after we go out with friends to our favorite restaurant. There's so many reasons people make excuses to delay it. It's ridiculous. Now, there is a small cost for this. It is a $695 value because it is 6 weeks. It goes longer because it's not just 6 weeks you have to complete it, but you have to do it for 6 weeks consecutive to graduate. The price is only $59.95. That's it, one-time investment. When people hear that, they're like, why is it so cheap?
Right.
I want to take away any excuse or roadblock or obstacle from a financial aspect for you not to do this. It comes out to be $1.50 a day.
Yeah.
That's it for 6 weeks. I mean, stop going to your fast food places like McDonald's. Stop going to Starbucks for coffee. Yeah. I mean, 2 or 3 days there and you've got it paid for. So that's what I'm saying is quit making excuses and justifications, because T. Harv Eker taught me you can either have results or you can have excuses. You cannot have both.
Well, David, I'm a finance guy. You're right, the finance guy. And it's investing in yourself, right? You invest in your business, your relationships, hopefully. That, man, I could go on and on. I won't, though. I'll save everybody it. Hey, real quick, before we dive into the program a little bit, because I want folks to get this. Hey, don't forget, jadedhealth.com. Jade, like JADED health.com. That's the best place to find David. David Medansky is also on LinkedIn. Find him. And hey, don't do it alone. If you're looking to lead gen and network and connect and really convert people, but you're a type of person that wants to be heart-centered, right? You want to build real relationships and have real longevity and have that harvest of clients and success and impact in this world. That's why we built the Hounds of Business, folks. So, hey, don't do it alone. Go to Hounds of Business on YouTube. You can find us and me, Mike Asherbrenner, on LinkedIn, or you can send a dadgum carrier pigeon. It takes 5 to 7 days, but it's usually works. So don't do it. And Mike King, another big shout out, man. Appreciate the opportunity to push each other up and help more people and get guys like David out there. Because David, you do, and you've done these for a long time. All the corporate leaders out there, listen, corporate wellness workshops, right? So you help professionals, people, and you have all these different offerings, right? So here's what struck me really wild about you and correct me if I'm wrong, 50% participation rates, right? Voluntary participation rates that come to your programs or people that are excited. Is that right? You have a really high participation rate when you do this kind of thing.
Or more. Yeah, 50%
or more, at least, which is really industry high, right? And so why do you think, so if that's the case, what's the secret to getting busy executives and their employees to commit if their days are chaotic and all of that? How do you achieve such high participation rates?
We meet the employee where they're at. So not one size fits all. In other words, you may have an employee that is fit and trim and eats healthy and works out all the time. And you may have someone who is extremely overweight, obese, or someone who's just overweight. So you have to figure out where the employee is at and meet them where they're at. So you start with them because, again, not one size fits all. And by the way, that's Vonnie Harry in the picture, the food babe. I got to meet her.
Yeah, the health guy and the food baby. Go to YouTube, check this out live. It's a great picture. Go ahead, Dave.
So the employees, they don't participate because usually it's a gym membership. And if you get a gym membership, then you have to go to the gym and then you have to hire a trainer if you don't know how to use the equipment. So it's more money. Or they'll give you a nutritionist, or they'll bring people in to lead routine, health exercise routines, things like that. Not everybody wants to do the exercises. They want to learn what they can do to improve where they're at. So what I do is I focus on finding out what healthy habits they have, if any, and then go from there. And I find out what foods they enjoy that are healthy for them. And then we focus on that, because what you focus on expands. And we figure out what they're eating that they should not be eating that's unhealthy. And then you start to reduce or substitute and eventually eliminate. Again, it's a gradual process. And I do year-long programs. And people are like, why a year long? Well, it takes time to develop new routines, habits, and behaviors. It's not going to happen overnight. And as you notice, it's difficult to break some of these poor eating habits that we have. A lot of people like the convenience. A lot of people like, that it's easy to get a frozen meal or go through the drive-through, order a pizza, pick up, Chinese takeout. So they think cooking healthy is expensive, which is a myth. It's actually cheaper. And they think it takes too much time. Again, you can prepare a meal faster than you can wait in line at a drive-through. It's just a matter of knowing how to do it. And that's what I teach people, how to do those things. And once they start seeing some results, that's why 42 days is so important, because you start seeing the results if you're consistent for 42 days. It's those small, seemingly inconsequential changes that people don't notice, that if you do give it enough time, you'll see the results. People are impatient. They hear the national brands advertising, lose 10, 15, 20 pounds, your first month guaranteed. Yeah, you can do it, number one. Number two, it's not healthy. And number three, you won't be able to maintain it. So that's what diets are designed to do. They're designed to fail. They're temporary, extreme, hard to stick with, and a lot of them are potentially dangerous. And if you want to live a healthy, long life that you're happy with, that you create habits that you enjoy, that work for you, that's the important thing. That's where we work with the employees, is figuring out on an individual basis and a group basis what's going to work for them.
Yeah, spot on. Absolutely. And well, again, you help professionals, individuals, people who want to be better health conscious and enjoy their time with their grandkids, or find ways to help. But a lot of us are running businesses, starting businesses, man. That I have a special forces guy that buddy of mine, and I'm a fireman, right, former fireman, and we're like, man, build a business, way harder, because you don't have the roadmap laid out in front of you. So don't feel like you're weird. But on that note, listeners, people listening, leaders particularly listening today, they want to transform their company's wellness culture, right? But what's the first actionable step that they can take in the morning, other than reaching out to you at jadedhealth.com? See that? Yeah, that's slick one.
Oh, what they can do to improve is figure out why it's beneficial for their employees to be healthier. And one of the biggest problems that employers have is absenteeism. And then number two is people leaving to go to other positions because they're unhappy or want to make more money. So turnover is a big issue. Imagine if you're an employer and you have to replace employees on a consistent basis. Well, it will cost you 1/2 to 7 times an annual salary to replace an employee, depending on their position.
Yeah.
If you kept that employee, you save all that money. It adds to your bottom line. If you reduce absenteeism because of illness and people being sick, that's preventable. Now they're more productive. Also, a healthier or happier employee is more productive. They don't get fatigued in the afternoon or become mind fog and sluggish. So little things like that. It's, how do you quantify it? Well, on average, absenteeism per employee is about $3,600 per year per company. Turnover, again, depending on how much employee turnover there is and what their position is, it can be 1/2 to 7 times an annual salary. So you can save that money. Again, it's $59.95, one-time investment. This is ridiculously inexpensive on purpose. If people feel there's no value, then they're missing the intent of what I'm attempting to do.
Right, and that's not a sales gimmick, guy. This is when I convinced this man to put a 0 behind it. Then dadgummit, do it now, because I see a lot, and I don't mind it. Listen, I don't value free, and I've learned that a lot of high level folks, they don't either. They put a little skin in the game. You take things seriously. I mean, I love how you bridge this. It's like you knew what I was going to ask, because we don't script this. Well, we've all heard about the rate of return, right? ROI, and I think you touched on some of it. We all know it's much cheaper and more productive in business to not replace employees, to retain employees. And also, don't forget the insurance premiums that most employers are paying. And if everybody's sick, let me tell you, right, that's not going to help. Yeah. So it's kind of an avalanche if you don't take proactive measures. So on the rate of return in business, how do we do that? So how do we exactly measure rate of return or rate of return on investment for these corporate wellness programs? Like what's the KPI there?
Well, again, it's how many employees are they going to be able to retain? What's their turnover? If they can reduce their turnover, by 10, 20, 30%, they're saving money right there. If they can reduce absenteeism by 10, 20, 30%, each company would have to figure out what their absenteeism rate is, what their turnover rate is, and then figure out what they can do. And if we're able to reduce it, even as much as 50 or 60%, that's a big savings for them. Companies don't look at it that way. They just say, well, we'll just hire new people. Well, it costs money to do that. It's more work for HR department. If I'm doing everything for HR with the program, they don't have to worry about it. It's not more work for HR. It's for me to go in there and make their jobs easier. So that's the important thing. And also CEOs, when you're a CEO and you show that you care about your employees, they'll be more loyal. If you just offer the generic, here's a gym membership, or we have a gym facility you can use, or here's a nutritionist you can call. That's not individual coaching. That's not meeting the person where they're at. That's telling them, here's what you need to do, without finding out what they like and what they don't like and why they want to do it. Figure out what is motivating someone to become healthier. And some people just don't care. They don't want to put in the effort. And what I usually tell people is everybody wants to be healthy and fit until they see what they have to do. Then the excuses and justifications start. One thing I do want to point out, Mike, as you know, is when they get the $59.95 program, when they enroll, they get a copy of the Jaded Health book. Yep. And they get a copy of the tracker, a hard copy. Keep track of it. And there's a lot of great things in there. So I provide you with the resources so that you will succeed. And I usually tell people as part of the program, read Jaded Health because of the 9 simple golden rules for living a healthy life first, before you jump into the deep end of attempting the Jaded Health 42. Some people are able to jump into the deep end and do fine. Others, they need to start slowly. So before you start running and flying, start walking.
Yeah.
For some, we have to even start crawling, because a lot of people think they're eating healthy because of the deceptive marketing tactics used by the food industry. And when they learn what they're eating isn't healthy and why,
it's awful.
It's terrible. And the other thing we also teach in Jaded Health 42 is not what to do. It's not also how to do it. It's why I'm asking you to do these 7 critical tasks. There's a reason for everything. So you understand the importance of why I'm asking you to do something. And I'm not asking you to do anything that I'm not doing myself. So I'm leading by example.
Well, David, we're out of time, but I'll tell you what, jadedhealth.com. All right, go touch base with David. You already know this guy's a professional, right? It's pennies on the dollar to really make an impact in your bottom line. And then there's other things like productivity and culture that improves when people aren't grumpy and ill health. I mean, come on. And so, guys, thank you so much. Check that out, jadedhealth.com. Check into the Hounds of Business on YouTube. We're going to be reporting the good, bad, and ugly. That's going to be entertaining as well as educational. And David, thank you for doing this, because honestly, we can go only a short while with food, water, and air. But see, we can delay for years and decades our health. But boy, when it comes, it's going to come. And then some of that's irreversible. So thank you.
Yeah. The other thing is with our health, Mike, as I mentioned, if you ask people what is a priority, they'll say their health. They want good health. Yet if you watch and observe them, they're not doing anything to make it a priority. So I want to help people make it a priority and a commitment and change their attitude so they can shift their mindset and change their life.
Yeah, if you think you stink and you'll never do it, try this. This is if I've already done all that. Yeah, well, this is why I'm here, right? So I don't have to do all that, then come here. All right, thank you, David, so much. Oh, guys, man, I can't believe it. Thank you all for tuning in. Reach out to us. Don't do it alone. Join this crowd, dadgummit, heart-centered, high-level professionals. We'll see you on the next one, everybody. Thank you in the comments. Hounds, you're amazing folks, man. Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.